Okay, so I couldn't find a great camera angle that had me in it and the rods and pistons, what I'm doing here. So just going to run through my process of hanging the pistons. So it's obviously a floating deal. First step, as if you've watched the rest of this video or the other videos, was get all your clearances measured, checked, everything's to size, the rotating assembly is balanced, pins are matched with the pistons, everything's ready for the pistons to be hung. A couple things to be conscious of is piston directionality and connecting rod directionality. Now these pistons have a big these pistons, and I picked up a connecting rod. These connecting rods have a big chamfer on both sides. Some of the rods you'll find have a small chamfer on one side, big chamfer on the other, or almost no chamfer on one side and a big chamfer on the other. That means the rod is directional. In a V engine configuration where two rods share the journal, the big chamfer has to go towards the crankshaft, so you need to be conscious of that. If the rod has a chamfer on both sides, or a small one on one side, or no chamfer on one side, just what direction the connecting rod goes in there. A lot of times, another thing when we get further along here is the bearings are also directional. The tang and the bearings on some of these will offset the bearing one way or the other. This is all to deal with the chamfer on the crankshaft. This here, chamfer is the same on both sides. The piston, it is a directional piston. It's an offset pin, so even though the valve pockets are all cut symmetrically, the piston is still directional. This one thing that I will do with these is I'll pick a direction, right? So that's going to be forward. The tangs will be towards me. So I'm going to hang 4 pistons in this direction, and then I'm going to hang 4 of them in the other direction. What that does is it makes the tang on the connecting rod is facing the bottom side of the engine when it's installed. There's not really any significance to it. It's just a habit that I've always had, so I continue to do that. So you've got everything ready and you know your directions are correct. First thing I'm going to do is put a clip in one side of this. I'm going to stick this pin in here. I'm just going to use this as a backstop, something to rest this clip against. Now you see these there's a relief there. What I try to do with the wire lock is I'll put it so it's just on the, just closes that gap up where that relief is. And I'm going to try to push it this way. A lot of times this end of the clip can get caught on a lip or some sort of, object on the side of the piston here. So you want to keep this thing loaded. Sorry, I'm going to move this guy a little bit. In that direction. I keep my other finger holding this pin up to hold that wire lock in place where it's at. And then I just take a little screwdriver and I'll work the thing around. Yeah, simple as that. Now I've done these hundreds of times, so and I get that they can sometimes be a struggle. I remember when they went from a spiral lock, which if you're not familiar is like a flat piece of steel just cut in a spiral, and I put it under my fingernail, put it in there, walk it around with a screwdriver. When they went from those to the wire locks, I used to hate these things, and now I rather like them. So now you got that in there. Just confirm your directionality again. All right, we're going to put a little bit of oil in the connecting rod, the piston on both sides, and we're just going to slide it together. I'm going to spin the pin. I'm doing that just to spread the oil around as I'm putting the pin in there. Put it all the way in, and you're going to do the same thing with the wire lock on this side. You're going to see the relief, make sure it just closes the gap of the relief. The reason you do that, the reason you don't want the gap over here, or at least the reason I do that, is so that if I have to pull this piston off at some point, this wire lock is there and I can pry the end of it off and up. It comes out pretty easy. Whereas if it's on this side, there's really no good way to do it without deforming the round wire lock. So I'm just going to hold my thumb there, the pin's in there so it's holding it over, and work this thing around. Pops right in there. There we go. So I'm going to put this thing in a piece of paper. Set it aside and do the rest of them. One thing I wanted to point out to you is these pins are specific to the lock style, right? So if you've got a spiral lock, the end of the pin is going to be differently, specifically this chamfer. This chamfer is designed so that when the round wire lock is in the piston and the pin is in there, the chamfer forces the round wire lock to stay in its position. It can't move because it runs into the chamfer on the pin. Something to just keep in mind. So I'm gonna hang the rest of these guys and go from there.
Got